When I met you at Burning Man, we were just part of the same friend group.
I've giggled and laugh-cried with you more times than I can count. Now, if that isn't nice, I don't know what is.
We make decisions based on what's best for us. Makes both of our lives better. You radiate peace in a way that makes challenges feel manageable.
Love is earned every day. It's not given just because you stand in front of someone and say, I do. I vowed to earn your love with each passing day.
Sarah, this amazing journey with you that we've been on for the last 3 years has taught us so much about each other in the best way possible. I know there is a lifetime of learning left, and I can't wait to continue to push each other and to be our best and grow closer to each other.
Because how could two different people from different lives find each other like how we did? Looking back, I realized that God was just perfectly working in the background for us to find each other. You're always going to be my forever.
Sony fanboys are going to think I'm shilling for Lumix. I felt like I did not lose any functionality with autofocus using the S1 Mark II compared to my Sony FX-3. When it comes to like human autofocus tracking, the Lumix S1 Mark II was incredible. I saw this bubble coming, and all I did was I just made sure I kept my finger on the screen as I was filming, and it stayed locked on the couples even when bubbles were going past in front of the lens. So I was able to just keep my finger on the screen where the couple was and I wanted to focus on them, and I could actually move forward and backwards and it would track focus them. It's an amazing thing that is hard to explain on video like this, but while you're using it, it gives you a sense of control. You know, when you put things on autofocus, you hit track and you just kind of hope the camera sticks on. It's great to know that yes, you have autofocus, but then there's some control you have over the situation. There's something you could do where it could still track, but also won't jump back and forth to other things you don't want it to focus on. In terms of like wedding filmmaking, from going to Sony to Lumix, I actually don't feel like I lost any autofocus ability. Matter of fact, I feel like because of the way I set it up, I had a better experience with the Lumix autofocus than I did using Sony. First, my favorite autofocusing lens on L mount, the Sigma 28-45 f1.8 DG DN lens. DN stands for D's nuts, big and thick, something my 41-year-old Asian D-bag trash knows nothing about. Then we need to use a V-mount to power the camera externally, requiring some 15mm rails. Again, carbon fiber because I'm a wannabe member of Dominic Toretto's family. Also a V-mount adapter plate from Tilta, which has 2 D-tap outputs, USB output, basically all you really need. As always, as a 41-year-old male with 2 children, I enjoy quick releasing to avoid additional conception of children while in bedroom activities. So here I opt for a felt cam quick release for my camera to the V-mount rig attachment. Then of course I will need a V-mount battery, and my V-mount of choice is the Ulanzi Chocolate, Chinese and cheap, just the way I like most of my consumer goods, as well as takeout dinners of unidentifiable meats. Here is the tricky part, a Condor Blue Nikon shooter battery, aka dummy battery. Word on the street is that this Condor Blue be blue balling power to the S1 Mark II and is not recommended for reliable use, so use this at your own risk. it is recommended to use the Panasonic DCC-18 dummy battery, but that battery is sold out like me, going from Sony shooter to Sony and Lumix shooter. But that is neither here nor there. I also recommend trying the Adams cable dummy battery as an alternative. Again, use at your own risk. A random small rig, like the small rig in my pants top handle, that I randomly found sitting in my messy ass office with 1/4-inch screw and RE locating pins to fit the tilta cage that strangely does not have a built-in NATO rail at the top. Not including a NATO rail at the top of a cage is like not allowing Opengate recording on a camera. Shit is just nice to have even if you aren't using it. Next, an SSD holder from Small Rig and a Lumix approved 1TB next storage SSD as an external storage option keeps the camera cooler than internal storage. Something most other SSDs don't know anything about. Stupid Sony D-bags, because Sony doesn't allow SSD external recording. Then of course an MKE 200 mini shotgun mic, small and doesn't require a dead cat to protect from wind noise, making you walk around looking like you got fur from your General Tso's chicken dinner all over your mic. Speaking of audio, the audio in this video was recorded entirely with the new Ceremonic Air wireless mic kit. It's similar to other mini wireless mic systems you have heard about, but has much better sound quality. The only kit where the tiny transmitters actually allow attachment of a lav mic, and the General Tso's chicken fur attached actually fits into the see-through case, however sticking out a bit, looking like my overgrown armpit hairs hanging out of my sleeves. Now just attaching an Atomos Shinobi 2 monitor for show, and to add into the links in the description below for you to buy, because in reality I won't use a monitor as much since filming with HDMI output disables subject tracking in 5.1K 60p and in every other option that is 60 frames per second and more than 4K resolution. After attaching the necessary cables, the rig is complete, ready for me to take out to look like I'm a filmmaker, but I'm not. I'm just a professional award-winning tube doucher shill making a how to rig your camera video in my backyard to entice viewers to click links in the description for every product featured in this video to make affiliate sales commission. Speaking of which, this entire video was filmed using the TT Artisan's 75mm f2 full frame autofocus lens. Currently, as of July 10th, 2025, is on sale for a ridiculous $159 Amazon Prime Day sale. Of course, the links are in the description for you to buy right away. The fact that this video was filmed with a small shill camera, Lumix S9, and a $159 lens is absolutely diabolical work. Anyway, with that said, thanks for watching and buying everything in my description. Subscribe to the channel, and until next time, lighten up.
Hey man, you got a new camera?
Yeah, this is actually the Lumix S1II. I actually have it all rigged out with the tilta cage on it. Those tube doucher shills actually weren't shilling. This is a great camera.
Oh my god, Lumix S1 Mark II. It's rat and unprofessional.
Why do you say that?
It have an overheat problem.
Bro, I use this camera to film 6K Opengate for like 3 hours. 5.1K 60 frames per second Opengate in like 95-degree weather. I didn't even get an overheat warning.
No man, I have a friend with an uncle who cousin saw on the Facebook a guy say his friend father with a Lumix S1 Mark II it overheat in 5 minutes with 4K 60 FX-3. They must have been in India filming Indian street food directly on top of a bucket of hot brown oil surrounded by hot and humid sweaty pits. You need to do the overheat test outside in direct sunlight 4K 60. Bro, no one films a long duration 4K 60p in shitty ass direct sunlight. I am not gonna do a bunch of unrealistic overheating tests. Let me show you. You could film the camera with 4K 60, put in the microwave. It overheat, it unprofessional. You film the camera 4K 60 in the air fryer, it overheat, it unprofessional. You film the camera like that 4K 60, it overheat, it unprofessional. Bro, back your mouth away from the damn camera. Your hot ass fish sauce breath will melt the camera before it even overheats. Hey man, you got a new camera?
Yeah, this is actually the Lumix S1II. I actually have it all rigged out with the tilter cage on it. Those tube doucher shills actually weren't shilling. This is a great camera.
Oh my god, Lumix S1 Mark II. It's trash and unprofessional.
Why do you say that?
It have an overheat problem.
Bro, I use this camera to film 6K Opengate for like 3 hours. 5.1K 60 frames per second Opengate in like 95-degree weather. I didn't even get an overheat warning.
No man, I have a friend with an uncle who cousin saw on the Facebook a guy say his friend father with a Lumix S1 Mark II. It overheat in 5 minutes with 4K 60.
They must have been in India filming Indian street food directly on top of a bucket of hot brown oil surrounded by hot and humid sweaty pits.
You need to do the overheat test outside in direct sunlight 4K 60.
Bro, no one films a long duration 4K 60p in shitty ass direct sunlight. I am not gonna do a bunch of unrealistic overheating tests.
Let me show you. You could film the camera with 4K 60, put in the microwave. It overheat, it unprofessional. You film the camera 4K 60 in the air fryer, it overheat, it unprofessional. You film the camera like that 4K 60, it overheat, it unprofessional.
Bro, back your mouth away from the damn camera. Your hot ass fish sauce breath will melt the camera before it even overheats.